Hey guys, Matt here with CGiM, part of Team X, and I'm coming to you with a video that we're going to talk about some favorites bars on TradingView, and I'm going to show you how to use templates and save those so that your trading is a lot easier. And you can just call those templates up anytime you want to draw something on your chart, such as fib patterns or CGP lines or Aries labels and things like that. So let's get started with showing you how to do this. When you come in here and you find a button on your toolbar here or one of these objects, if you put a star next to it, it puts it on your favorites bar. And then when you open up your favorites bar by clicking the star down here, it brings up everything that you've had saved for your favorites. This is really handy so that you don't have to open all of these extra drop-down menus. You can just come in here when your chart's going and just start drawing things on there automatically. So I'll just show you kind of some of the things that you can set up. Most of the time with the patterns that we teach you, you're going to find the fib is a good one to use, obviously for a lot of them, different rays, trend lines, and boxes, and then some labels. That's pretty much the biggest thing that you'll be using when you're drawing the patterns on your chart. But nonetheless, you can save these templates for any of the drawing objects through TradingView, and we're going to show you how to make it worth your while. So let's just show you a long position here, and I'm just going to turn it on to the default settings, because if you've never changed the settings with TradingView, they're going to show up something like this. It'll be this green and this red color here. So what you want to do to save a template on any of your drawings is know that the templates are attached to specific drawings. So if you set something up for the long position where it looks a certain way and then you save it, you have to also do the same thing for a short position tool, because these are two separate tools. So this isn't going to save for your short position. It'll only save for your long position. So what do I mean by save it as a template? Well, here we have a long position, so we're going to open this up, and you can open it by double clicking the object or by clicking the gear icon here. So we'll double click this and open it up, and we're just going to do a 100 pip profit target with a 100 pip stop loss. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Something to know in TradingView is it works off of ticks. So instead of 100 pips, you'd put 1,000 ticks. Basically just put a 0 on the end for however many pips you want. So this would be 100 pips profit, 100 pips stop loss. And then you'll see that changes it to those settings. Now we'll go back in here and we can change the style of this. And let's say that for whatever reason you want a blue area for your profit target and just a yellow area for your stop loss. You can save this however you want, but let's say that's what you like. And it makes the text really hard to read. So let's change this to a darker color. And then you can save it there. Most people don't like all this extra stuff here because typically they're looking for the reward and risk ratio, or maybe just the pips. So you can go with the compact mode, always showing the stats, whatever you'd like to do, showing your price labels on the side. It's up to you. But once you change all of these settings, what you want to do to make this your own and just pull it up on the fly is open the template and just say save as. And I'm just going to call this Matt's Long, so that we can show you what that looks like here. And then that saves it as a template in the long position. Now if we open up a short position, we have to do the same thing. So you see a previously recorded version is there. So we'll do this. And let's just say for my short position, I want to do, 50 pips here and 50 pips there. And for the style, we'll do profit is that blue color, stop loss is the yellow. Price labels are fine. Again, I want some dark text. Now you can see that my short is going the other way. So we'll save this. Make sure I hit the right one here. Short's there. I need to make my profit blue. Stop is yellow. Profit's blue. There we go. We can get all the settings. So we'll save this and we'll call it match short. And okay. Now it's saved there so that we have these tools already set up. And so anytime that you go and start drawing new tools in there, it'll just pop up when you select it. And it'll have the preset settings that you set for the long and the short. And you can just continually draw these on your chart however you want to as you move along. If for some reason the default settings get adjusted or you go to a different chart layout, then these will always be saved. So if for some reason you flip to a different chart layout here and it came in and this said default again, but you had it all set up with the size and the colors that you wanted, all you have to do is draw the object back on there like this and click this drop down button right here. And that opens your templates. And so we can go down to the one I saved for Matt's Long. You can see I saved other templates for different take profit and stop loss targets. So we'll open the one that I just showed you, and you'll see that it reverts to the changes that we saved as a template. All right, so that's how you just save it. Now you create a template and you save it. So let's show you how that's pretty useful. What I like to do with the CGP patterns is I save them as rays. Some people have it as trend lines and they just set it to extend to the right. I like to use rays myself. It's up to you however you want to do it. But I'll show you an example with the ray here. So let's just do an upwards moving CGP pattern. And I'll just kind of draw one out here as if there was a CGP playing out here. So with these, what I like to do for my charts is make sure that there's a label on it. So I'll give you an example of what that looks like by opening my template. I've already saved this, remember, so I'll show you how to do it on the rays. It's the same process, but I'm going to show you the demonstration. So I've drawn my ray, and now I want this to be my 135 line. So I open up my templates, and I find that I've saved it as a CGP 135. So in my settings, it saves it where the text is on the line itself. And same thing down here for this ray. I'll save this as my 2-4. And anybody that's in the CGP pattern, you know that 1 point would be up here, 2 point here, 3, 4, and 5 as it goes along. So this is the 135 line and the 2-4 line. I've done the same thing with the 1-4 line. So I'll put this over here where it would intersect somewhere along the way, and I'll call this the 1-4 line. And you're going to see that the formatting is a little bit different. I like to use the same colors because I want this to be my overall CGP pattern. And if I start drawing another one, an internal CGP pattern, I want that to stand out as a different setup. So all of these are going to be the same color, but my 1-4 line I save as a dotted line. If you want to change it, just go into the settings here and figure out what kind of line you want, and then you would just go in and set it as a setting. So we're going to cancel that, just go back out. And then I've done the same thing here with the 5A line and the 5AA line. So we'll just copy these as if this is where our points 3 and 1 were. And I'll show you. So this would be my 5A line. I've got a setting for that. And my 5AA line. And I got a setting for that. Now you notice that it also puts the writing on the rightmost side of the ray. The reason I had it set up that way instead of like this one where it's here in the middle between point 1 and point 2 on the ray is typically once price has moved its way over here to this 5A point or the 5AA point, it's usually further along in the pattern. And so I want to see it set up over here. And so I want these labels to be further to the right. So that's the only reason I have these ones going that way, but you can set them however you want just by changing the settings under the text, and you can change the alignment in the top, the middle, or the bottom, and you can change it on the left, start of the point, the center between the 2 points, or the right of the point, and then you just save it under your template however you want to set it. So that's how I do it for my CGPs, and I'll show you how we do it for the Aries as well, or at least how I do it for Aries, just to give you another example. So even though we use the same ray icon here, again, when we save them as settings, we just open them up as a template. So we'll kind of put these out here for you just as a demonstration, as if this was an Aries, and I know they're not going to be exact. I'm just kind of doing them fast to kind of give you a simulation here. So this would basically be our Aries pattern, and I save them all as a template. So this one, again, for different colors so that it stands out. If I have, I just posted the dollar Swiss, there's a CGP playing out and an Aries towards the end of the CGP as well. So I have these different colors so it's easy to see. And here's my AA line. Then you would go and label this. We'll talk about labels in a second, but now you can see that my Aries, they're pre-formatted. They've got pre-formatted text here as well, so that it's really easy for this to stand out. Now, how do we do our labeling? Because if I put this out here and I say this is number 1 on a CGP, but then I need to say that this is my point A on an Aries, you do the exact same thing. You just go into the formatting and you set it. So we'd come in here to our settings. We would change the text color and the size and the formatting if we want a background color or a border or whatnot, and then we'll save it as a template. So I've got Aries main and CGP main. So if I'm doing a CGP point, I'll open this up and say it's a CGP point. If I'm doing an Aries point, then I'll open this up and say I'm doing an Aries point. And you'll see it automatically changes. So I just come in here and I say this is A. And then if I want to do another one, B, and so on. And then if I need to mark a point as a CGP, then I'll say this might be 0.3. And since it's highlighted there, I'll just come down and make it a CGP 0.3. This prevents you having to go through each time and having to format your letters. So it's actually pretty quick where you just put them on your chart. So as you're working through your Aries here, let's say this is point A. Make it an Aries point. B. Up here would be our C. And it just saves it so that you can just fly right through and label your chart, and it saves a little bit of time. And this obviously we just change back to A. Like so. Okay, so there's we've gone through rays, we've gone through different patterns, so you can save them that way as well. And then another way you can do this is with things like the method and the Hermes, and also checking your CGP validation points. You can save your fib retracement tool. So we'll set this up here. I'll drag this out here and give you the Aries. And you can see that the Aries has a 618 rule. It's because when we draw from from point C down to point D on the Aries, we want to see that that price break through this 618 figure to make sure that the price is strong enough moving to reach our point E. So that's one setting. Same thing if we draw out our fib retracement tool here. Another one that we can go through is Hermes. And Hermes I've saved. You just go in the settings just like any of the others, guys. You just come in here because you see all these settings are different. You go into the settings and you change everything, all the boxes that you want. You put in the values that you like just by typing them in if you want colors. And so I've color coded it so that it makes sense. Again, you can do left, right, center, top, middle, bottom, all that stuff, and prices or percentages, however you want to do it. And then you just save it as a template. Okay, so here I've got my Hermes. So now when price is here, I just draw it on here and I can see my reversal zones. I can see the 0 to 100 box. Everything that you need to know is just right there. Let me give you an example of how we use this really quickly on the CGP lines. So you see my formatting is off on a CGP, so I want to make this my 1 through 5. And we'll do another one because I'm going to do a 2-4 line. And we're just going to obviously pretend price is in here. Oops, I did the wrong one. That's fine, it's super quick. And then we do our 1-4 somewhere in here. Okay, so now as the CGP is presenting itself and forming and I'm validating every point as it's moving along here, what I'll do is I'll take my fib out. And remember, let me throw some labels on here so that it makes sense to you. If you look in the pearls of the CGP, you're going to see that the fib retracement rules apply. And you want to check those for further validation of your CGP. And obviously the more validation you get, the more of those little marks that you can check off, the better the CGP formation is, the more probable it is to play out. So let's say we have this here and I'm tracking price and it's moving along. By saving the fib retracement tool as a template for each of these points, it's really quick to do the validation and not have to memorize all of the rules. This is one of the biggest things I struggled with when learning the CGP is, well, which fib ratio is it to verify 3? And then how do we figure out how to verify 4? And then what's the difference between 4 and 5? And trying to memorize all those things. So one thing that we do is we just save a fib. So if we come from 1 down to 0.2, which would be right here, I can come in here and I say I want to do the CGP 3 validation. Now I've gone and I've saved the values for this fib retracement tool. So if I open it up and you'll see, I've gone through and I've put the numbers that you get out of the pearls on the CGP course, where this 114 and the 1236 value is where 0.3 should validate in a perfect CGP. And I've got obviously the starting spaces here, and the 0.5 I just like for that point of reference as well. Then I saved this as a template and I called it CGP 3 validation. Okay, so what this is doing for me is as price is moving here and giving us the CGP points and down to 2, and then we have that complex formation here and gives me a 3 here. If price ends here, then I know that I'm within my fib ratios because they're highlighted on my fib. Okay, so now price moves and it comes down, and let's say it gives us a 4 down here. And obviously this is off a little bit. I'm just doing it for example's sake. I'll make it nice and clear for all those that pay attention to that. Same thing, but instead of the 3, we're going to validate the 4. So we come from 2 up to 3. Obviously these numbers are off because this is the CGP 3 validation, but all we need to do to switch it is just come over here and do 4 validation. Now you'll see between 0.5 and 0.786 should be the termination point of our 0.4, and in this demonstration it is. So we want to do the exact same thing as price moves along and goes up to 5. And as it does that, as we're validating our CGP as we move along, we can do the exact same thing. So 3 down to 4. Come up here to our save template, and let's verify 0.5 validation. This one would be a little bit shy, just based on the fib here, but again, however it plays out, it might work. So if this ends up where the 3 points a little higher and this line comes up a little more, you'll be perfectly in the range. But again, not every single one of the CGPs are going to hit these perfectly. It's just a tool to show you that if it does come up within this range, then you're validated according to the fib retracement rules. And then, of course, as things play out from here, you have your 0.5 and off you go. So just kind of a tool to show you how you can really set up templates to make things really fast for you in TradingView. You can even do it in boxes so that they always set up the same way for your structure and symmetry with your CGP patterns and all that stuff. So I hope this helped you guys. I hope it showed you something that maybe you didn't know and that you learned something out of it. Try to keep these videos nice and short, but put out as much content as we can. You'll probably see a little bit more of that coming out now that the team's developed for you. So I hope that y'all trade green as well, and we'll see you in the next video.